Jasmine. Jasmine, can you hear me?
Okay, man. Hi, I'm here. I'm just finishing up feeding the baby. Turn on the light, man.
We waiting on Nicole and Dara. It's gonna be four. Hey, baby boy. Hey, Kamalu. Hey. What you doing? Chilling? You chilling?
I'm here. I'm just finishing up his dinner.
All right. What y'all having?
He's having a vegetable quesadilla.
Fancy. Veggies. You're gonna have veggies for dinner with some cheese on it. Yeah, you like cheese?
I like cheese.
Yeah, me too. I like cheese a lot. What you do today?
Camaro.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Very cool. I went to work today, you know, same old same. It was boring as usual. Because work can be very boring. I'm hungry too, Kamalu. I'm hungry. I think I'm gonna have spaghetti.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have spaghetti. Because I can make it quick.
Make it quick.
Yeah, pretty quick. And then I'm gonna put some cheese on it.
I put the cheese on it.
Yeah, I like cheese.
I like cheese.
Yep, cheese is good.
Cheese is very good.
It's real good.
Very good.
Or I don't know. Hey, Nick Lover. Or I might. Jasmine's with us, and Dara is going to be with us shortly. I'm sure. I was just sitting here talking to Kamalu.
Oh, I didn't know Jasmine was on the call. Hey, Jasmine.
She fixing dinner for Kamalu. They have veggie quesadillas.
Okay.
Because he got cheese.
I heard that. I'll be right back.
Okay. Where's Zori?
Downstairs.
Oh, okay. What you watching on TV, Kamalu? What you watching?
Yes, sir.
What's it called? You like it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I like your hat.
Do my cat?
Yep. I like it. Let me see your hair. Let me see your mommy's haircut.
Show the haircut now.
Cut.
Yeah, you got that haircut. Oh, you did good, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Yeah, I see you try to line it up.
I let my brother do that.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Yes. Hey, what's up?
So I had the customer here. She's coming to pick up her shoes, but I was like, what are you picking up? And her son for I don't know where her other shoes are. I don't want anything to run where they can't.
Okay, if it's the same exact shoe, you can give it to her because she's already paid for it. And that was our mix up.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Woo, they be worrying me. I see you, Zuri. I see your shadow. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey. Hey, Pooh. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, Pooh. Hey.
Good. I guess Dara running a little behind. We'll get started
Okay for you.
in
All
a
right.
moment.
Yeah. Wow.
Zuri, you grown. You wearing one ponytail. That mean grown. Remember when one ponytail used to mean grown?
It was even growner if we gonna go by them terms because I actually had, I blew her hair out.
You what? You put the heat on her hair?
I blew it out with the blow dry just so I could trim it. Like I didn't want to risk trying to trim it while it's curly, and I knew it needed something because it was just sort of like, breaking or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, I had to give it
A little trim.
a little bump and curl.
Not bump and curl. Yeah, Zuri walking around with a mushroom.
No, I when I blew it out, I just put 2-strand twist in it and then unraveled it so it had like a little body weight to it.
I've been practicing my braiding. I'm gonna wear this for 2 weeks just out of respect of the time that I put in and time and effort that I put into it. I was up almost all night braiding my hair.
How many are in there?
It ended up being like 40.
Oh, really?
Yep. I thought going in that it would be like 25 because I wanted to make them big as possible. But I've been studying some more YouTube videos, and I still got a lot of hair. I'm gonna try something different next time. I think I'm gonna try, instead of twisting it, I'm gonna wrap it.
Oh, to do like a lock, like a faux lock?
Yeah, like a full lock.
That's going to take a long time because you actually have to don't you got to braid it first and then wrap it?
Yeah.
Nah, skip that.
Yeah.
Skip that.
But I feel like I can just not braid it and just wrap that regular hair.
Wrap your hair?
Yeah.
I'm afraid of that.
You afraid of that? Why? It's gonna lock for real, first of all.
I feel like you're gonna get a lot of and then how it's gonna stay on. You know what I mean? Because usually when they do it, when they get to the end so that it won't unravel, they'll either burn it or do some yarn. I don't know, whatever situation to it. So you got to think about that too. How you gonna keep it from unraveling once you wrap it on your hair?
Oh, one of the girls at work, she got some in her hair. They take a thin piece at the end and wrap it upward.
Right.
and that hold it.
Right. But you're gonna be using your real hair. So like how you gonna unravel it without cutting it?
Good point. I don't know. I feel as if like I can feel it with my I'll feel it out and then just slip the scissor up there.
Yeah, this
But
plan,
I'm already messing up already.
this plan don't sound.
Wow, you just won't let me be great at all.
Now I'm trying to protect you.
Okay, okay.
What your friend does.
What is you doing to your?
Yeah, I started my locking process.
You locking?
What?
I don't feel like you being forthcoming with that information.
I
This
mean,
Kamalu looking like you locking. You mentioned that maybe a long time ago, but you ain't say that you proceeded because you said you ain't want no party locks.
yeah, you know, because I knew. I mean, you know, the journey can be a bit challenging, but I just went on ahead and did it.
Yeah.
It's just in 2-strand twist right now. It's been like this for like 3 weeks. So next week is when I'm supposed to go and like have her wash it.
Uh-huh.
Which I wish I probably could have did the shit myself, but
Probably.
yeah, I'm gonna just have her do it.
Well, at least see her do it once, so you know how you're supposed to do it going forward.
Right. Yeah, because I feel like when she put the 2-strand twist in, like she did them. Not all of them are going in the same twisting direction. Like some of them are going left and some of them are going right.
Hey, Dara. Welcome. We was talking about Nicole. This is Dara. I know, Dara, come off of mute. Dara, I know her from Georgia. We worked together at Bloomingdale's.
Oh, okay.
And this is my friend Nicole and my friend Jasmine.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Finishing up dinner.
Valid. We're having leftovers, so I didn't have to do that.
Okay. What type of leftovers? Oh, I'm greedy. I just like hearing about food.
Baked spaghetti with we got some potato bread from the farmer's market with green onions and all kinds of starch.
I'm making spaghetti too. I was just telling Kamalu, Jasmine's son, that's what I was having tonight, spaghetti, and I made a grilled cheese.
Awesome.
So we on the same page. And
yes,
second of all, spaghetti tastes better 2 days later.
It does, and we use it to hide the vegetables for the kids. They have no idea.
Yeah. All they do is sauce, cheese, and whatever else.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else, they're fine.
All right, guys. So, and
I gotta acknowledge that I ain't seen Jasmine since 2000.
Right, Jamaica.
I want to do that.
Added a baby.
Right? How you doing?
I'm good, girl.
Good to see your face.
I know. You see my baby? Say hi.
Yeah, he was the first one I saw.
Mm-hmm. He loved video chat. Every day he asked me to call somebody.
Really? Call somebody.
Every day.
Oh my God. I have an 8-year-old who's learned how to do it herself. I just walk in the room and she's on the phone with whoever. My in-laws, her friends, whoever. No, yeah, not strangers, but just because we have Alexa, so just at any given moment.
Oh, that's funny.
She'll
He'll be there soon.
Yeah. Oh, let me get here. I think this will be better.
This should be interesting as we discuss bodies that I'm the only one who hasn't birthed kids. So I'll be interested in hearing. And Jasmine, I know damn well that if you feel comfortable with, and of course, whatever you guys feel comfortable with, I definitely do at some point want Jasmine to share her story when she went to have Kamalu.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, good, thank you. Because I don't know, this was really prompted by one thing, just Well, a lot of things. Dealing with my reproductive system. And Nicole just, Dr. Corley,
Not
as,
MD.
as she's known in them streets, Dr. Corley, she had recently suggested that, what is it? Shepherd's purse. Are y'all familiar?
No.
Girls, listen, when I cycle, I'm bleeding to death.
Yeah.
Death.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
we really, in the last couple of years, like last 2 years, somehow I've developed fibroids. And now I'm just gonna open up with the story. But I developed fibroids, and if I were to guess, I feel as if it's in line with me starting birth control pills, which were prescribed as a way to curb the heavy bleeding. And out of the blue, Nicole mentions shepherd's purse. And so I tried it with my, Nicole, I know you thought I was playing, but I'm dead serious. That shit is life changing, y'all. It's life changing because I bleed so heavy and it minimized my bleeding. And to this day, I did read some reading on it, but to this day, I don't really know how it happened. Something about vitamin K. Do you know any detail, Nicole?
No, I mean, I really don't, because if you remember, if we just going to just jump on in,
Right.
different things, different levels and different layers. If you remember some years ago when I used to make my womb tea, right? So there was a sister, remember that? So there was a sister in Atlanta, I forget her name, but she used to sell like this gallon of like womb tea and like Seven Nanda, you know. I don't even know if that's what it was called or whatever. But so I had purchased it one time and saw some, you know, some slight changes with my flow. And then I just started kind of investigating each herb and each mineral, what have you, she would put in this concoction. And I mean, it probably had like 20 plus herbs and concoctions in it. Okay. And I decided to try to do it myself. Like, let me see, you know, certainly if she wasn't an MD or anything, so it's all like some witch's brew type of thing, right? And so I just, you know, attempted to do it myself, you know, was unsure of like what, you know, how much of each herb you were supposed to put in it.
Sure.
But anyway, so just kind of did it myself. And over time, I have sort of used different elements to try to test on my body, like particularly. And then I got to shepherd's purse. And and so I had done some investigating and said, well, let me try this. Let me see how this works. Now, when I first started using it, Terry, I was only taking like 1 or 2 doses. Okay. So I wasn't really seeing the reduction in flow, you know, it wasn't significant at all. But then I upped it because I think it even says on the bottle like 3 to 4 doses per day. But of course, you know, you want to kind of see what it does to your body. So then once I hit that 3 to 4 doses a day mark, it was like literally cut in half, like, you know, my cycle cut in half. So, and like you, like, I don't know like what exactly it does, you know, but what it does do is it does cut that, you know, cuts my cycle's flow, I mean, significantly. Because like you, Terry, like I've always bled since I first got my cycle. I've always been that one to just do that. But right, like you said, like this thing right here is absolutely life changing.
Yeah, it definitely was for me. I was like, I struggled during that time for a full week. Day 1, day 7. If I'm going Monday to Monday, the whole time, ain't no light days. Ain't no light days. So one of my the ideas was see if anyone had more stuff to share. And I think that, and I feel as if and also on top of that, I wanted to get off birth control pill. Yeah. Because I don't want the hormones in my system. I'm an
Right.
old ass woman, and active or not, I just didn't want it in my system. I don't want to just keep on adding stuff. You know what I mean? And of course,
Right.
through your physician, it will always be, in my mind anyway, some sort of medication.
Yeah, that's the default. They
Yeah.
gotta prescribe you that.
So can I ask, the shepherd's purse, is that just a collection of herbs that you
It's
like,
a
can you
singular
purchase it or
herb.
you make it?
No, it's a singular herb. It's just called shepherd's purse, and
Oh,
how
okay.
they
The
typically
plant.
Okay.
sell it in the health food store is like in the dropper. It's usually like a really small dropper. For how much? I don't know how much it costs for you, Terry, but it's not cheap. You know what I mean?
It was like
Yeah.
They
$20.
How much was it?
Like $20. I got mine off of Amazon and
I might have paid like 25 for it actually.
you pay how
But
much?
anyway, I think I might have paid like 25.
Okay.
Not co-op, but you know, co-ops tend to be more expensive anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if they sell it in a dropper, and you know, you just each time you take it with like a liquid, a little bit of water or juice or whatever, and like a syringe full of it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guarantee you, like the next day, you'll see, you know, a change in your flow.
Yeah.
So I was recently looking into this, but more on the birth control side. So I've had an IUD, not the same IUD, but I've had an IUD for 8 years straight, which is just not healthy.
Okay.
It's not okay.
Mhm.
So I have, and I'm sorry, and I'll send it to you later, Terry, to share, but it's in my phone and I'm using my phone to do this. But I have like a list of herbs that also help lighten your cycle and also act as birth control, for both females and then a male version of birth control as well.
Wow.
That I was looking into to order. And I'm like a little budding herbalist, so I'm growing a lot of it myself,
Okay.
just to see, okay, this part of the plant does, because most of the plants are multifaceted. The roots do one thing, the stem does another, the leaves, the flower. So that's what I've been playing with. But yeah, I was just adding that.
Yeah, no,
Oh, I'll be very interested in hearing that, seeing that list,
Yeah.
because I'm still.
Yeah, no, I'll send it to you right after.
You know what I mean? But I
Right.
want to get off the birth control.
No, but like, so my kids are 8 years apart. I'm not doing that again.
Right.
We're not. No, one's going to college and one is still in elementary. No more surprises.
All
No
right.
more none of that.
Now
But I also
IUD
can't
anyway.
do medication anymore.
I've always had a pretty easy period. I get cramps and stuff, but I went on birth control like right after having Kamalu, and that was the first time I was ever on birth control like in my life. Other than that, I had only used condoms. And I remember one of my friends, she had a baby and then she was pregnant again 5 weeks postpartum, and I was like, nope, can't be me. So that like really prompted me to get the IUD, and I got the Mirena. And when I broke up with Kamalu's dad, I got it removed. But I had it for about a year. And during that time, I gained so much weight that I'm still trying to lose. I gained like 80 pounds. I think a combination of postpartum depression plus the IUD just really jacked me all up. I gained like 80 pounds the year after having my son. And it, like when I had the IUD, my period stopped entirely. And I only had it for a year, and here we are a year later, and my period is just now starting to get back to normal. I have this theory that birth control, prolonged use causes like infertility. I know way too many people, a good 4 of my friends who got on birth control at like 15, 16, 20 years later, they met their husband, they ready to have kids, and now they can't get pregnant. I don't think that, I mean, in birth control, they don't have to make it completely safe, because a lot of us will do whatever we got to do to keep from getting pregnant. It's like, okay, good enough. Let's have it. And I know like they have that they were doing the clinical trials for the male birth control, and all of the side effects they were talking about were the same as the female birth control, but the men were like, no, we can't take it, it's not safe.
Mhm.
Like, it's the same stuff that we go through,
Mm.
just so we don't have
Same side effects. We've been
Yeah.
doing this for years. It's the same side
Exactly.
effects.
Exact same. And birth control over the decades is largely unchanged because we don't demand the change, because we just want to not have the babies. But
Right.
you know, we don't talk about the very long-term
Right.
effects that it may have.
And
Yeah.
I hate to, what were you gonna say, Nicole?
No, I was gonna say, I mean, when Jasmine mentioned, you know, how like we've known about birth control for so long because many of us started when we were teenagers. And I'm just saying, remember, you know, when they were putting that, it was a Depo-Provera, like the three things in the arm, like
the matchsticks.
Oh yeah, and it's just so wild to me, just like the history, the evolution, and the impact, and the role, and the symptoms, all of those things related to, you know, birth control.
My turn.
Right. Gynecology as a whole.
That's wild, because like, so that in some ways, like,
history.
that hormone has stayed in Jasmine's system for over a year.
Yeah, my turn.
You know what I mean? So that she hasn't had a cycle.
Right.
So
think about taking it for 20 years.
I've had mine. And it's Mirena. I've had one for 5 years, had it out for 2 weeks, had another one added back, like they took it out and then I had that back. I haven't a cycle, with the exception of those 2 weeks, until recently. I ended up having 3 cycles in less than 30 days. And I just got finished doing all of my tests and everything to see what's going on. They say that it's in place, and I'm just like, I want it out. This is like, my body is rebelling.
Yeah.
Initially, I had an ultrasound done. I'll find out if there's fibroids. I'll find out if it's in place. But at this point, I'm like, well, it makes sense. It's been 8 years basically without a cycle. My body, it's not okay. That's not what I was built to do. Like, I need some type of release, but also I can't keep at this. Like, I don't know if you notice, like, this, the incest. So I'm one of those people that started the hormones early. I am at the point where I'm like, I don't even know who I am. Like, the mood swings, the whatever that comes with these hormones, I don't know how I actually am without them.
I feel as if, guys, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I almost feel as if as Black women and maybe as Black teens, we kind of got led into that. I don't know if it were where I'm from and where I came up from in Virginia, the country. I know that me and my friends, we were active early. We were very active early. I remember one time my cycle didn't come, so I had to tell my mom that I was active. And so I was like, I hadn't, you had the cycle. And we we called my doctor, and she was like, I think somebody on the phone was like, well, can she be pregnant? My mom slid down the damn wall. She is dramatic, first of all. I'll never forget that. She slid down the wall. First, no, she had the phone. She looked at me. She was like, could you be pregnant? And I was like, and she slid down. I'll never forget that. And so then from that day on, I went into birth control pill. But it's so many things that I find, or that seem to be redirected toward. Like, okay, for instance, finding a gynecologist that you match with.
No.
That's hard. Dr. Sid Williams in Atlanta, after I moved away from Atlanta, I would still travel down just to have my appointments, because I was like, it's only twice a year I can do this, because I have built a relationship with her. And Black woman, I just felt that she understood the needs of my body. So when it took a while, and I got a recommendation through my boss, a Black woman. I just don't feel like they're treating us. Like with my fibroids and stuff like that, it's not a lot of information out there about why is it happening primarily with Black women. I say birth control, but other people take birth control too. What about our bodies? Is
Well, I feel like some of the hypothesizing around it, some of the things, like I haven't delved deep into this thing at all, but I feel like I recall reading a headline or two or seeing something that pointed to just the nature of our diet. So there might have been a study done on, African women, right? Their diet, and they don't, if I recall correctly, don't quote me on this, but I think like they didn't get fibroids in the same way as Black American women. And related that, they connected some of that to just diet too, right? And so even like, some things that, and I know folks have a different way to approach this idea of like, what it is you're eating, what you're putting in your body. Some folks say that, like you got the savvy, that's like, only eat like 10 things, right? And then you got folks that are like eating for your blood type. And then you got folks that are like eating for your cultural type. Even in thinking about like, wow, like when we think of, our ancestors, our descendants, the types of food and minerals and nutrients and all the things that really are more appropriate for our body. That's why a lot of like, Black folks are lactose intolerant. I mean, we ain't supposed to be taking cow's milk like that anyway, but then there's something, especially with Black folks' makeup, that makes us more sensitive to lactose and other things as well. So I think some of that, in addition to, our experiences medically, starting from when we are younger, but I think there's also a connection even with the food that we have access to here in the States.
Yeah, my she had fibroids developing during her pregnancy, and she said she tried the blood type diet and they disappeared. And her doctors were like, I don't know what you did, but they gone now.
Right.
So I definitely think there's something to that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not what's the word? I'm not I'll try anything, to be honest with you. But I just don't feel like a lot of physicians out there know enough about our bodies.
They don't.
Oh, because the typical person was, and then not to mention a lot of what we know about medicine was based on white heterosexual men.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So to even know about our body, it's really new. You know what I mean? It's new. Mm-hmm. This is new. This is new medicine, as it relates to understanding Black women's bodies.
Right, and the differences, yeah.
And the differences.
There are definitely differences.
Absolutely are. Absolutely.
There are so many, honestly, and they're just not interested. Yeah. And what I find hilarious in this particular situation with, our reproductive system is that the history of gynecology started with us. And yet and still, you still didn't get it right.
Right. Yeah. It's a disinterest in because we're devalued.
Right.
Yeah.
So why find out more? I'm just shocked about, I mean, it's other things other than fibroids, but that's what I can speak back to because, I suffer from them. But it's just not a lot out there. And to find someone, I was recommended to a women's group, all women's GYN OB office. My physician, and I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm saying physician. I started seeing her, she's an Indian woman. I like her a lot, and I'm funny about who I see. Not as I should be. You should be discerning. And I liked her off the bat. What I found out later is that, and this is not shade to them, their office, or her, she's actually a nurse practitioner. Look, I saw her months thinking that she was my doctor because she was writing my scripts. You know what I mean? But she's a nurse practitioner. But they get busy. They can do anything that the doctor can do anyway. So I'm not tripping off that. But one day I decided to find out more about her because she's interesting, first of all. And I was looking up her background. Do you know undergraduate level, she studied zoology?
Wow.
It was funny as hell. I was like, this bitch has been studying animals. I trust her with my body. She's been studying animals. That junk was funny. But she's talented. She's good at her job. And like I said, we connected. I was looking through her background. I was like, wow, they really got the zoology girl working on me. But that's cool. I can believe that mess. It is what it is. It is what it is. She used to work with the animals and whatnot. Next time I'm gonna see her, I ain't gonna tell her what I found out. I'm just gonna start asking about animals and see what she say.
She gonna have all the information.
Exactly. I'm gonna be like, I wonder what it's like for a cow to give birth, and just see what she say. How involved she get in answering the question. She gonna have all of that. I'm like,
you can't say cow though. You gotta say like zebra.
All right. Yeah.
You gotta stick with the zoo animals.
Yeah, something wild, something exotic.
Right.
I wonder what that's like.
Right.
No, I'm be like, I wonder how long a zebra stay pregnant.
Right.
But she cool though. I dig her. But Jasmine,
Oh my
share your story.
I can't.
Yeah, I know zoology. Share your story, please, because I was that too. I just don't feel like we be getting taken care of like we should.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second, okay?
Mhm.
1 second.
I do not feel like we be getting taken care of. And my mom, my aunties don't, nobody got their uterus. I feel like that is always a suggestion of the physician. Oh, just remove the uterus.
When you're ready to stop having kids, they just tell you it's hysterectomy. Boom, done.
I don't feel like white
Right.
people be having hysterectomies like it's been recommended for our folk.
Right.
Now, I wouldn't necessarily know
Right.
that for sure, but don't nobody I know at a certain age in my family got a uterus. They do. I'm not gonna,
We didn't have no more babies.
because when we started talking about the fibroids, I was about to say my doctor, but my nurse practitioner, she brought it up once about, we could do a hysterectomy. I'm like, I'm too damn young for a hysterectomy. I don't know where life might go. You know what I mean? And so I said, no, that's out of the question. I'll keep it. Thank you.
Right.
I mean, but I try to keep in mind that part of their job is to get us on prescriptions. A hysterectomy equals a lifetime of medication, a lifetime of hormones.
Good point. That on top of that.
Yeah.
All right, Jazz. Tell the folk what happened.
But yeah.
Look, where Kamalu at?
You right there watching Sesame.
I had to go re-up because I felt like this was gonna get emotional. I had to.
Well, I'll start by saying I had a perfect pregnancy. It was a very, very easy pregnancy. But one thing that I noticed throughout my pregnancy, just to start, was that I was judged a lot for being plus size. And I think like there are layers to it. Like, they don't listen to you as a Black woman. They don't listen to you as a bigger Black woman. And then they automatically think that you have all of these things wrong with you. So I was automatically, because of my weight, automatically marked as high risk. And when I went to my first high risk appointment, the doctor, she was clearly like on some diabetes crusade or something like that. So I think they took my blood pressure, and it was my first appointment, so I was nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And my blood pressure was high. And she saw that, and she's like, oh no, we have to, I need you to get a blood pressure cuff. I need you taking your blood pressure several times a day. and we need to do an early glucose testing. And from what I came to understand was that she was not trying to see if I had gestational diabetes. She was trying to see if I had diabetes, because apparently it was way too early to be doing the gestational diabetes testing. She was trying to see if I had diabetes.
Okay.
So she told me, like, yeah, if you get this test done, it's gonna let us know if you're pre-diabetic or if you're diabetic. I'm like, I'm not diabetic. Like, they don't listen to you. First of all, they don't listen to you. So when I go in there and my blood pressure is high, she sees that I'm big. I'm telling her, I don't have blood pressure issues. I'm just nervous right now. And I'm telling her, I don't have any issues with my sugar, nothing like that. They don't listen, of course. So the first couple of weeks after seeing the high-risk doctor, I was pricking myself, you know, taking my glucose and doing the blood pressure cuff and all of that stuff. And I'm talking to my nurse friend and I'm telling her, like, these are my numbers. She's like, oh, girl, I wish that was my number, you know? And then when I go back to the high-risk doctor, that's not even my doctor anymore. It's a new person. So I'm like, where is the lady who was trying to make me think that I had all this stuff wrong with me? And her husband died because he had diabetes. So she was like extra with it.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I got checked again, of course, no diabetes, no blood pressure issues, nothing like that. But yeah, just that, like, I was scared, like, oh gosh, diabetes. I never had anything wrong with me, but maybe I got it and I don't know. But yeah, so that was like the high risk doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doctor that I chose to have the baby, it's a clinic or a doctor. It's a practice it's only women in the practice. It's 5 Black doctors and 2 white midwives.
Okay.
And so the plan was to meet every one of them throughout the time that I was seeing them before the pregnancies, and that at any given, you know, whenever I have the baby, that one of them could be the one delivering the baby.
Okay.
And it turns out, fast forward, the one that I hadn't met was the one who was delivering my baby. That's what ended up happening. And I didn't like her.
Black woman?
Yeah, she was Black. But I think that one mistake that I made, and one thing that I tell like all my pregnant friends now, don't necessarily research the doctor. And you can research the doctor, but research the hospital and the nurses, because you spend more time with anybody. You spend the most time with the nurses. And you gotta go potty.
Go potty.
Okay. I had my baby at Piedmont Rockdale, and it was right during the transition from when it was just Rockdale to becoming Piedmont. And it was just,
I want to go potty.
okay, baby, go potty. Go ahead.
Okay, come on, Lou, let us know.
Go ahead.
Let us know so we can clap for you.
Come on.
Good job.
He can do it by himself, but he don't want to. Go ahead.
I heard that. Go Kamalu. Go Kamalu. When I interviewed Jasmine for a series that I was doing on my blog, 100 Strangers, and that stuck with me. That just stuck with me. And now what I did not know is the detail of that she actually was with a doctor's group that was Black. I didn't know that detail, but just that, I'm just talking about overall respect.
Yeah.
Overall, just
I think that, like, even if they respect you as a Black woman, because I had Black women doctors, they don't respect you as a plus size person. So, and then they always tell you in high risk, they always tell you that they err on the side of caution,
okay.
which basically means C-section. That's what that translates to, erring on the side of caution. So yeah, pregnancy was very easy. And then I ended up having my son. I went to an appointment at the high risk doctor and they said that my fluids were low. And so then they wanted to admit me. And when I got there, they said, you know, if we'll keep you overnight and if your fluids are back up by tomorrow, we'll let you go home. If not, we're probably gonna have to induce you. And so they weren't up the next day, but they were back up the day after that.
Mhm.
But at that point, they were like, well, no, you know, we need to err on the side of caution and we're going to induce you. And I think that like another mistake I made was being like trusting,
Okay.
which you should feel like you can trust, but
That ain't no mistake.
you know, you, especially as a first time mom, they give you like all these scary, you know, scenarios of what could happen if you don't do this. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, my baby's fine. I'm fine. You know, I don't have no preeclampsia, no gestational diabetes. Everybody's oxygen and heart is good, but they telling me that they need to induce me because whatever.
Mhm.
And so they induced me, and then it was like just all downhill from there, from the induction. And I had doulas. That's another thing I tell people, it's really important to have doulas. But I had two doulas, both friends of mine, but it was during a snowstorm, so they couldn't get to me. And like the streets were shut down, everything, like the nurses didn't change shifts, none of that stuff. So I shouldn't have let them induce me. I think that second time around, if I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have gone through with an induction. But then they, you know, like I said, they give you the scare tactics and, well, if you don't agree with what we say, then you have to sign a form saying that we told you this and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it was kind of scary. So I'm like, well, man, I don't think anything's wrong, but if y'all need to induce me, I guess. And they told me because of my weight that they weren't going to let me go past 37 weeks anyway, just because of my weight. Like that's the only reason.
Wow.
Just because that's high risk.
That's pretty
Protocol.
gangster of them. That's pretty.
Yeah. So they told them.
This
They told
all
me
sounds very familiar.
yeah, they said no matter what,
Yeah.
we're gonna induce you at 37 weeks anyway. But this was at 36 weeks, so we're a week before that anyway. And yeah, like they induced me, and and then rewind. I have a blood disorder that causes me to have low platelets. So they told me very early on, because of your blood disorder, you're going to have a natural birth. So I'm like prepping myself for natural birth. I'm looking at videos. I'm going, you know, asking all the questions. What do I have to do for a natural birth? Trying to just wrap my mind around that. And then
like how was natural birth defined? Because I know like
vaginally and without an epidural.
Okay.
Just because of my platelets.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm preparing myself for this. And the more I research, the more I'm like, okay, maybe it's something I can do. So when they induce me, I'm going through everything naturally. I'm having all of my contractions, everything naturally. And it wasn't that bad for me. So at that point, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm getting a little excited. Like maybe I can have this baby.
Black women don't feel pain.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. But yeah, it wasn't that bad for me. And then I got to like 5-6 centimeters dilated. What? Zoe sticker. I'm sorry. I got like 5 or 6 centimeters dilated, and then I stopped. And that's when they started. It was so many things. Like they gave me, you know, of course, like the Pitocin, and then Cervidil, And then the thing with the Cervidil, this is where the nurses come in. It's something that they're supposed to insert into you, and you're supposed to wait 12 hours and then see about it after that. So when the nurse inserted it into me, I told her it didn't feel like it was in place. I said it didn't feel like it was far back. And, you know, and she was two nurses at the time. They were together because she was training or something like that. So I told her it didn't feel like it was far back enough. And she goes into this whole like, well, I've been a nurse for 25 years and I know what I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay. But then I asked her other nurse, I'm like, well, can you check it? She's like, no, she's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. She knows what she's doing, blah, 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 blah. Two white ladies.
It's my job.
And so fast forward 12 hours later, my midwife is checking me and she kind of frowns. As soon as she checked me, I said, let me guess, it's not back far enough. She's like, how did you know I was gonna say that? I said, because I told the heifer last night that it wasn't far back enough. So I just been sitting here for 12 hours doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And then, so they put me on the medicine. Then they had like this ball between my legs that was supposed to stretch it out. But the thing that my doulas were telling me was that I needed to walk. They said, walk, walk, walk. But the hospital was telling me, you can't walk because we need to monitor you. So no, you can't walk. As soon as my doulas found out they were inducing me, they said, you need to walk, you need to move, you know, we're gonna get that baby out of you, have sex. We had sex in the hospital. They were like, get it, do what you gotta do. So it was really bothering me that they wouldn't let me walk around because that is what I was told, like, that's what's gonna get your baby here. Mm-hmm. So I was just laid up, not moving and not progressing. So they had like this ball between my legs, and then they put some she described it as like a balloon.
Flotation device.
Some balloon is supposed to stretch you out. So as the doctor, this is the doctor who I didn't meet prior to. The doctor who I didn't meet.
I have a question, Jasmine.
Uh-huh.
Did they let you eat during your induction?
Yeah, they did. I did eat. They let me eat. But that's a whole nother story. Like, a doctor came in thinking that I was a different patient, and of course looking at me was like, why are you eating that? Because you have gestational diabetes and high blood pressure. I was like, no, I don't. That's the wrong person. But just because he looked at me, he thought those things. I'm like, check your chart again. That's one thing. It's like the arrogance of the medical community. They think because they went through all of this stuff that they cannot be wrong ever. And that, you know, even though it's you don't know your own body, like they know it better than you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she put like some balloon type thing in me. And in the course of putting the balloon thing in me, my water broke. Mm-hmm. And she literally said, oops. So I know, like everybody else knows, okay, so now I'm gonna have a C-section. As soon as my water broke, I started crying. Because I know that when your water breaks, it's like point of no return. You can't turn back. So I just started crying and crying and crying. And there was this lady who came in. She told me that she was a janitor. But she came in, she was like, you know, something told me to come in this room. And I don't know what it was, but I felt like I needed to come in this room. And then I see you in here crying. And she just like held my face and like rubbed my hair and told me it was gonna be okay. A black lady, I was like, you know, that had to be my grandma sending her to me because it was just such a traumatic experience. So yeah, after they broke my water, I knew that's when they were like, okay, if you don't have the baby in X amount of hours, then we're gonna have to give you a C-section. And again, they still weren't letting me move. And I just remember I was so tired. Like it didn't really hurt, but I was just exhausted. And they gave me like a sleeping pill or something like that so that I could try to go to sleep. And then maybe right as soon as the sleeping pill kicked in, that's when they decide to tell me that I need to have a C-section. And that's finally when I was like, man, this just doesn't seem right to me. Of course, it's too late, but I was like, I just need to think about it. And I'm like drowsy and everything. And that's when they're like, a nurse came in and she was like, just in case they have to, at that, I'm like, what do you mean just in case? She trying to shave me and prep me for surgery and all this stuff. I said, do you know something that I don't know? Well, no, this is just in case. I'm like, like, come on now. So yeah, we ended up essentially having to have a C-section. And right before, and again, they had told me that I couldn't have an epidural because of my blood. But then it's like all that goes out the window all of a sudden. I'm like, well, what about my blood? Oh no, it'll be all right.
Damn.
Okay. So, but I thought I, couldn't have this because it was dangerous because I don't have that many platelets. What? Okay, watch it. And literally, as I was about to get the epidural, I got into an argument with the anesthesiologist because yet again, he was looking at me and he was like, gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, hold on, baby. All of these things that women who tend to be overweight get. And I'm like, no, that's not me. And we're going back and forth. Again, I'm on a sleeping pill, drowsy as hell, going back and forth. No, that's not me. Nope, you got that wrong. No, that's not me. And I'm adamant about it because I know that the medicine that they give you is based on what you have. So I'm like, no, that's not me. You got it wrong. That's not me. So we're going back and forth. Finally, a nurse came in and was like, oh no, that's not her. She doesn't have any of that stuff. I'm like, once again, your arrogance. I'm telling you that's not me. Do you think that I would lie at this moment when you're about to give me drugs? And so when he asked me if I had any questions, I said, I have one question. Why the hell you didn't listen to me when I told you that the first time? That's my question. He was like, well, ma'am, I'm like, no, is there anybody else? So I had to get somebody else because I didn't feel comfortable with him anymore.
Good for you speaking up.
But finally, and I think like another reason why I was not speaking up as much is because Kamalu's dad is very like in your face. The nurse had threatened to call security on him one time. Like, so as he's being very aggressive, I'm trying to calm them down by like, being accommodating and all of that just to balance him out. But at that point I was just done. So I got them to switch that off, got the C-section. It was, a C-section. And I just remember it being very cold. And I remember I could smell like my skin burning, which I could still smell that. And like I remember the smell. And then afterwards, the nurse like almost scared me, I should say, into giving my baby formula because she was like, his sugar was dropping and all this other kind of stuff. You need to give him some milk right now, or he'll have to go to the NICU. And so I'm like, okay, just give it to him, whatever. And that was the birth. And then I got very sick. Kamalu was fine. He was fine. Kamalu has always been fine, but I got very, very sick. Had an infection, a fever. He officially got released from the hospital before I did. And the same doctor who like pushed all this stuff on me, she kind of came to me and was like, we need you to fight because you're very ill right now. And we need you to get better, for your baby, and we just need to see that fight in you, because if you don't fight, you might not make it,
They was trying to scare your ass to death.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, like, all of this is because of what you guys did to me. Like, I didn't
What was your mama? What was your mama?
At that time, that might have been like 3 days postpartum. So she was like in and out because his dad was there with me most of the time. And I think you could only have one person stay overnight. So she would come, she would go, she would come, she would go. Yeah, so I was like damn near dead, going in there, completely healthy pregnancy, completely healthy baby, after almost dead. yeah, fever, infection, the C-section. Compared to my other friends, I don't know why my C-section was so horrible, but my recovery time, I had to go back into the hospital 2 weeks after Kamalu was born. So I missed his whole third week of life because I was back in the hospital, because I had my incision opened up, had another infection. Yeah, I remember at one point I was wiping myself and I thought that I was just like really dirty. I'm like, man, why is it all this brown? It was my skin coming off. I thought it was dirt. It was my skin coming off as I was wiping myself with the washcloth. Like it was just horrible. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Oh, no, that's not it. Because when I went back in the hospital for his third week, they wouldn't give me a breast pump because they said, the breast pump, that's for the women in the NICU. I mean, in the maternity ward. You're not in the maternity ward. So I couldn't get a breast pump. So my milk, whatever little milk that I had dried up, my milk never came in. And I was told that my body pretty much had to decide between making milk and healing itself. And no, don't touch it. And yeah, like I couldn't breastfeed like I wanted to, and that was like really, really depressing to me. I didn't even know that there were women who couldn't breastfeed. Like at the time, I didn't know. I thought either you wanted to or you didn't, but I couldn't, and I wanted to so badly. So that was very, like I would literally be feeding my baby formula, just crying because I wanted to breastfeed. Yeah, but made it out of the hospital. Like I said, my incision opened up, so I wasn't cleared. I had a outpatient nurse. So I had a nurse who come to my house 3 times a week to change my wound. And yeah, I wasn't off as a Christian say, I wasn't off the sick and shut-in list until Kamala was like 5 months. I was finally like cleared, didn't have to go to any more doctor's appointments, didn't have to see the what do they call them, go to the skin clinic, the wound clinic, whatever it was. He was 5 months old.
Let's go fast, Mom.
So yeah, very, very traumatic birth and postpartum. My pregnancy was great, and I really feel that if I didn't get induced, and he was a preemie. He was a preemie unnecessarily because he was born at 36 weeks, a whole month early, just because of them. Yeah.
I wonder if, well, I have a 2-part question because I'm not going to keep you guys long. But the first one is, are there things that you may be aware of or best practices that we can share with each other? And the next thing is, currently and right now, what are you doing for yourself as far as self-care? How do you take care of yourself? Which is, I feel like it will be different because you guys are mothers per se. Because when I think about my friends with kids, self-care always includes the kids. But what do you get to do for yourself? What are you doing for yourself? That's what I'm asking you guys. What are you doing for yourself currently? How do you take care of yourself? Nicole, I got one question for you. Are you drunk?
No.
Okay, just checking. You look real suspicious for a minute.
No.
Some of that nephews.
No.
I go to therapy. I see my therapist twice a month.
Nice, good.
Like I said, I gained 80 pounds over the course of like right after I had my baby. So I've lost 60 of them.
Okay.
That and then some. So I invest in my health, in my wellness. And of course, like coronavirus kind of jacked that up, but I didn't gain any weight, but I stopped losing. So I'm back at it. Got a little home gym popping. But other than therapy and just like exercising, I don't, especially becoming a single mom. I mean, honestly, self-care was getting rid of his father that was self-care. That was child care too. But so honestly, because I would have this voice in my head telling me that I was a bad mom no matter what I did. I just thought I was a terrible mom. And I realized as I'm like a year removed from that relationship, that voice was his voice, because he would say stuff like that. But yeah, so becoming a single mom has made things so much harder, but so much easier at the same time, because I'm at peace. But
That's
as
good.
far as, I mean, I go to therapy and I work out. That's kind of like it. I don't have
That's a
many
lot.
skills.
A lot. Do you feel as if working out makes you feel better?
Come on up here.
Or is that what people who work out say?
I'm not one of those people who really enjoys it.
Right.
I wish I was. Like, I have these friends who have lost all this weight. Like, one day you're gonna live it. Like, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm 60 pounds down, still not there. I still hate it. It's still just something that I feel like I need to do because, I want to be here long term. But no, I don't enjoy it. I cook. That's something that I do. I cook with my grandmother's cast iron and her dishes and stuff like that. I do cook. That's self-care for me.
Yeah.
I did not know I was unmuted. I hope y'all didn't hear anything. I'm sorry.
I don't know what you said to Zuri, but you ain't gonna be doing that with witnesses. I'll tell you that right now. Dara, what do you do for yourself?
Oh, so I'm sorry. For whatever reason, I hear you guys better when I'm muted. That's why I kept muted.
No.
Honestly, I kind of suck at it. I can't tell you one thing. I am an over investor, and especially with the kids being at school, and so my life, I have 2 kids, 2 dogs, 2 guinea pigs, and a husband. So between the children and the pets, I am so like walking the dogs. I don't know if that counts, but like I love doing it. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. I am almost alone. It's awesome, but like I couldn't. I'm starting a cleanse next week. I feel like that counts, maybe
I
slightly.
wonder how you'll feel.
It's something that I want to do.
That is significant. That is something. Like I really enjoy riding my bike. And I think it's just a matter of being outside. I never felt as connected with nature before to this whole COVID shit. And I just want to be outside doing all types of stuff. I done got on the skateboard, got all these injuries and fell. And I just want to be outside. I do want to be active, but I really just want to sit on a bench and just read a book. And that feels great. That feels great to me. I do feel as if food is very, I've been working out, but I've been enjoying food. Like I'm enjoying food, not to a detriment as of yet, but it could easily come. It could easily come.
I'm so sorry, but like the one thing I remembered about you from Bloomingdale's was Terry liked food.
I do.
It needed to be good food. She
Right.
liked food.
I do. I that is cooking. I've been cooking more because I don't like cooking for myself. I like to cook for other people, but I don't. In a sense, I don't treat myself well. Where I don't cook for myself, but I'll do it for somebody else. You know what I mean? But I have started to because I just find comfort cooking, baking. Everybody was baking banana bread a couple of months ago. Give rid of them bananas. Everybody was baking, cooking, whatever, and I did find comfort. What you doing? What you doing, Nicole?
So, first of all, I want to say thank you to Jasmine for sharing your story. And as you was talking about it, really, there was a lot of there was a lot of your experience that really mirrored mine, a lot of it. And y'all know, like, I got one, with exception of you, Daryl, like I got November babies. One child gonna be 21 in November and the other one gonna be 6. And so even for both my pregnancies, that's not funny, first of all. But for both my pregnancies, you know, it was like me doing it for the first time all over again, right? It's like literally a new world having Zuri versus when I, you know, was pregnant and delivered Jalen. And so Jasmine, like I connect with so much of what you were saying. Like I'm like was literally as you were sharing your story, reliving my own. So, but again, and I appreciate you sharing it because I mean, you know, certainly those types of stories are difficult to share, but they're also such community building stories. Like, so there's that. But yeah, so for me, yeah, I'm getting better with it. Cause I realize, I don't know if it's something where because I'm gotten older or maybe I just have the language to describe how I tend to feel, but you know, I get very anxious. I get, you know, very, you know, overwhelmed very, very quickly. And this year has been very, very difficult emotionally and all of those things. But yeah, like Jasmine, I'm in therapy. I've actually been in therapy for over a year, which is really good for me because I always tend to like after the first or second session, I'm like, all right, I'm good, I'm out. So I found someone who you know, who we rock well together. And it's, you know, I think one of the best parts of being in therapy, if you have a good therapist, is just like everything is about you. You know, you can talk about yourself, you know, and not feel like, you know, you're being selfish or, you know, what have you. And I think especially for folks who tend to not talk about themselves, like to be in a space where it's just all about you, it's just so refreshing. So that's certainly something that, you know, I've been more consistent about. And also, I mean, like I started partaking in THC, and that's been, you know, I guess folks could argue one side to the other,
Sure.
but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for it. So there's that. But I guess also that what I'm also getting better at doing is like, I don't know if you all follow the NAP ministry. It's a dope social media page. It's called the NAP ministry, and it literally talks about napping or resting as resistance, especially for Black folks. Because, you know, especially for Black folks and more particular for Black women, you know, we feel like, you know, and oftentimes because we do it all, right? And then this idea of sitting and resting and napping is something that we don't tend to do because we start to feel guilty about it. Like, oh God, I'm not feeding the kids. I'm not cooking a meal. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And how just sitting and resting and napping is an act of resistance, revolutionary for Black women, especially. And so I've been napping. I've been like today, you know, there is some work that I need to get done, but my body said, yo, Nicole, chill out. And so that's what I did. I chilled out. And I'm learning not to feel as guilty about it because there is a piece of me like, damn, I do need to be, you know, work is there. But like my body was like, nah, you need to get this nap in. And so that's what I did. I honored my body. And so just getting better with honoring my body, listening to the cues my body is telling me, and knowing that, you know, because there's also that anxious piece, but also knowing that, okay, all is going to be well, Nicole. The world won't blow up because you decided to take a damn nap. You know what I mean? The world won't, you know, collapse or suck into a black hole because you decided to, you know, to just say, okay, that work can wait for later on. So that for me it's been really nice. And I am, you know, starting to really just kind of do it more and just honor what my body says to do.
I like
and sometimes more times more so than honor, you know, what my mind says. Like, you know, sometimes there is a disconnect, but it's like, look, your body says this, lay down. So that's what I did.
I love that. I'm gonna get to your level one day. I'm gonna get there. I love that.
Even in the fact of forgiving yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
like,
whatever it is, something small as that.
Yeah.
or whatever it
I'm working
is.
on it.
Right.
I think the guilt thing is, I don't know. I always feel guilty about stuff too, like all the time.
Guilt is so deeply
It's
rooted. Like
inundated
I'm
in
just,
you. Like we just,
oh
like
man,
I just realized that this is the longest I've ever sat down and just not been doing something. Like I know we're talking, but I'm normally doing something.
right, right,
Multitasking, trying to figure
right,
it out.
right,
But I
right.
will say I had an aha moment because my birthing stories were also very similar to you as well, Jasmine. But I realized could you hear that like there are consistencies, within our community versus others, but to actually sit and like go, okay, that sounds like my story. Okay, that sounds like my story. That's like my first one was a 3-day induction. They also stretched my cervix and I 2 words, dry birth. But like just and then hearing right, and then hearing that somebody else is like, nope, sounds just like mine too. It's just like, what is going on? Like clearly you don't care. So I'm sorry, I just had that epiphany.
Yeah, and it also makes you understand why so many, well, I don't know what the numbers are, but I do know there are folks in my circle that are doing home births. And I'm like, now I get it. I get it because you have more agency and more control over your
Absolutely.
birthing. And if
I
you can't
wanted a
follow the
birthing pool so bad. I'm still mad. I'm not gonna have another kid, but I'm still mad I didn't never got that birthing pool.
because you
I
can't be in that
wanted one.
hospital. You cannot be in a hospital setting. Like Jasmine said, like you can have your OBGYN, but once you get into that hospital too, it's a different world. So they like, and especially like with Jalen. I think I did it with Jury too. Like, I typed up my little thing. Like, I want the radio playing. I want my partner by my side to cut my umbilical cord. And it was like, man, fuck this shit.
Right, like what is the point of coming up with the birthing plan if you won't listen?
They won't honor it. They won't honor it.
And one nurse told me when I told her I had a birth plan, she said, everybody I know that had a birth plan got a C-section. That's what she told me. Like, why would you tell me that? But that's what she told me. Because I had my birth plan typed up too. And she was like, well, I mean, we'll try to do what we can. But honestly, everybody I know that had a birth plan had a C-section.
Terry, we can have a part 100
like,
this
cute.
Conversation.
Right.
I mean, because like the whole hospital medical industry, capitalism at its finest. We can slice you up and have you out the next day. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I had with my son, it was vaginal. With Zuri, it was a C-section. And I think I had maybe a smidget more agency because I actually also had a chiropractor. So when Jasmine, when you said that your fluids was low, like when I went to the medical doctor, they were like, oh no, we're gonna have to do this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. When I told my chiropractor, who was a white woman, she wasn't a naturalist though, she was like, just drink some water. As soon as I went home and drank a gallon of water that day. And as a pregnant woman, your bladder is being smushed. Next time I went back to get my fluids checked, I was good to go.
Right. And I remember,
but if I had went with that medical model, ain't no telling.
Because they told me you could leave if it's good tomorrow. It wasn't good the next day, but it was good the day after that. I'm like, okay, I can leave now, right? They're like, no, we're gonna induce now. Yeah. Like, but my fluids are back. You said that's what the issue was. My fluids, they good now. So what's the problem? And C-sections cost more, so that's what they pushing for. They're trying to make that money. And they actually, like, I saw a breakdown. Natural births cost this. C-sections cost thousands more than a natural birth.
Because it's surgery. Yes. And then you have to factor in the anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
It's not just an epidural. They're giving you true anesthesia.
Yeah. Natural birth, that's basically just somebody sitting around while nature takes its course. That is very cheap. But your C-section, you got to pay for the surgeon, the anesthesiologist, the surgery team, everybody who's there, the postpartum care.
Post-surgery, yep.
All the Percocet and all that stuff.
The medical industry got one of the biggest hustles out there, yo. It's such a hustle, yo. Such a hustle.
Wow.
Even the whole formula piece, right? Like, You know, breast milk is for the free. You know, but all the line items. Yep, all of that stuff.
But listen, ladies, I want to thank you for participating in this. I am going to be posting it on the blog, and I would like to do it again because one, I like to see what we can come up with in terms of things we can do for ourselves, or put something that we heard into practice. But also, I would love to chat with you guys about mental health. I've been in and out of therapy for a while, and I'm very resistant to seeing a Black therapist. Nicole, I hate when you act like you ain't never heard nothing before. I hate that. Because I feel judged. I feel like if I got in front of a sister, it'll turn into a cousin, and I will feel judged. If I'm choosing to live my life, and I can't have another Black woman. I just don't. I just.
And I'm like completely opposite that. I will only see a Black woman. That's it. Nobody else.
And I love that I got a Black queer woman. So she like, I just love it. I love it.
I'll travel for a decent therapist, Nicole. I'll travel for it.
Well, you know, everybody doing teletherapy now, so
yeah,
you don't even got to travel nowhere.
Sure. You can send me her
My
name.
favorite was a Black woman, but she left the practice and went to another state. But yeah.
She left.
Yeah.
And thank you for putting this together, Terry. I really enjoyed this. This was great.
This is self-care.
Yeah, it is. It is, because I'm thinking that I did hear I don't have it. I want a dog so bad, y'all. I want a dog so bad. You were talking about walking the dogs. I said, that sounds heavenly. That's what I was thinking. That sounds heavenly.
It's honestly one of my favorite things to do. And we go to a nature preserve and we just walk in the woods. Favorite thing to do ever. But they're crazy. So be careful. Them dogs are nuts.
Oh my, they're crazy. They however you raise them, I'm gonna tell you that right now. All right. Hey, Dar, if you could send me the herbs, and I'll make sure Nicole and Jasmine gets them. And then, like I said, I like to do this again, maybe build on it and just look into other things about how we can, the overall arching concept is how we can just take better care of ourselves, especially right now.
I'm with it.
Beings.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hey, y'all, I didn't cuss out the man in the Costco the other day. When somebody was talking about something, Nicole, you was talking about how you anxious, this, that, and the other. I found I'm very volatile right now. I'm like always on edge to pop off. I have no tolerance for nothing. Me and the man screaming in Costco.
About what?
Because I thought he was trying to cut me in line.
That's how people be getting shot just for no reason. Everybody on edge.
Everybody is on edge.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody on edge. And
I was gonna say my tolerance is getting short. Like you got a couple of tries and then that's it.
At first I thought it was age. Now I just think it's just I need to chill. Figure out how I'm gonna best chill.
It's a combination of different things, man. We living in multiple pandemics. We all quarantined. We walking around wearing masks all day. Like I really felt like today the mask that I got on that my employer gave me was suffocating me. I'm like, I can't live like this. I just can't. So this just on many different, and then I think age is with it too. Like, you know, when you get a little older, you know, they say you ain't, you know, you're not with the shits no more.
Yeah.
Or you are with the shits. However the thing.
Yeah, I'm with the shits.
Yeah, you with the
I would have put somebody's daddy up in Costco the other day. But I want to say that I did apologize. But I do feel ashamed.
You had a right one and the wrong one at the same damn time.
I was like, sir, there's a line.
Arms like that and everything, right?
Girl, I was hand clapping. I was giving him prayer hands. I was giving the prayer hands like this. I was, then 5 minutes in, the cashier talk about something. Are y'all okay? Do you need water? I was like, you let us go for 5 minutes. And then you told me, are you okay?
Filming it because everybody's filming everything now. Somebody had to be filming it.
Okay.
World star.
Shut up. He would
World
not
star.
shut up. I
World
told him
star.
it was lit up in Costco. It was lit. I feel ashamed about it, but it
You
happened.
see this one right here?
What happened?
Move back, Zuri.
What's your
Listen, you stood up for yourself, and that is self-care.
Oh my
I
God.
don't care what
they're
anybody
glasses.
says. So don't feel bad.
Reading glasses.
Still. All right. Well, all right, y'all. Good night. Thank you so much. I know I got to put them kids to sleep and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get this posted in the next week, and I'll let y'all know ahead of time.
All right.
All right.
Meeting
I'll
y'all.
be reaching out sometime soon.
Good night.
All right. Good night, y'all. Bye.
Good night, everybody. All right.